It's so cold.
It's pretty cold.
So we're gonna see the snowman. We're walking in the
I was literally about to do that, man. God, you took that from me.
You can still do that.
No.
What's the second? I don't even know what the second line is. What's the second line?
We're walking in the moonlit sky.
So we're off to see the snowman.
Yeah,
See you in a bit.
Bye.
Anyone can see that he's trying to hide something.
You can't force the pieces to fit.
You could have saved them.
No?
Gave you all the clues.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back. All right. So as we like to do, a little spoiler-free taster of our thoughts, I suppose, for the snowman. What are your 3 words?
My 3 words are cold, jumping.
Yeah, you jumped out your seat.
I did.
Right? When we go to the cinema, I never jump at scary things.
What? Did you not?
But you just, I jump because you jump. You jumped about like 3 feet
But
out of
that
your
doesn't
seat.
happen only in the cinema. I always jump.
This is very true.
But yeah.
Okay, so
So I
third
jumped.
word. Third word.
And scenery.
Scenery. My 3 words are subpar Larson.
Oh, cold.
Yeah, cold.
Oh, literally. Pun
cold. So yeah, if you don't want spoilers, switch off and go see the film and then come back and watch the end. If you're happy, we're just going to dive into this.
We're walking in the air.
The snowman. I need to make an apology first. I need to apologise for my 3 words because
You should.
because I've realised that I can't use that because I haven't read the original. I cannot say that it's subpar
Yeah.
Larson. So because this is all about the film, I'm gonna have to change mine if you'll allow me to subpar Fincher. So yeah, subpar Fincher because. So David Fincher, director of many, many, many awesome thrillers like Seven, Zodiac, and incidentally the US version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which no, wasn't as good as the Swedish version, but was also really quite good in its own way. This is not that. Should we get to the thumbs? Should we do the thumbs? Because I think
Yeah. Can I just make an observation though as well? But when you said that you can't say it's subpar Larson because we're talking about the film and not the book,
Yeah.
and you haven't read the original. That I don't agree with that. The reason that you can't call it subpar Larson is because Harry Hole is a series, a detective series. The Snowman, I counted this morning online. The Snowman is number 7 in the series. So there are 6 books previously of Harry Hole. So one of the things that we talked about briefly yesterday was that we didn't know anything about Harry Hole, and we didn't really care about him. Well, you didn't necessarily because he wasn't developed.
yeah.
But with Larson, you've read the 3 books. Let's just leave David Lagerkrantz out of it for the moment. You read the 3 original Larson ones, and seen the film of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and you know Blomqvist and you like him. So it's not comparable. Basically, is what I'm saying is because you've come into Jo Nesbo yesterday for the first time, as have I. We've never read him, we've never seen him, we've never done anything, which is probably quite weird, but that's the case. So that is a big reason why you can't call it subpar Larson, because you don't have that same relationship. You've come in halfway through.
But again, that's the point about the book and not the film. The film, in that case, had a duty to explain its characters, which it did not do. In fact, Harry Hole is still pretty much a mystery to me. He's like a one-dimensional alcoholic. Half the characters in the film get introduced and then quickly dropped. There's no fleshing out of any of the victims. The introduction to the villain is rubbish at best. The prologue that supposedly explains kind of his motives is terrible, and everything is just poorly interlinked. Everything is poorly set up. None of the twists land. None of the stuff in the film is impactful. And here's the thing: I didn't come to Stieg Larsson through the books. I came to his work through the films. So I watched The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, both versions, before I read the book.
Oh right, okay.
And this is the thing: if you're adapting a bestseller, or you're adapting, or you're jumping on a literary trend like Scandi crime in this case, start at the fucking beginning, or work that into the film. If you're going to start with book 6, understand that your audience may not know anything about this character, so give us a reason to root for him. Maybe.
So thumbs? We're not even gonna count. You're so
No.
set on your thing. Okay, well, fine. Screw you.
I've already gone down. Like,
That's
this
so
film
harsh.
was bad.
Wow. You've got way more outspoken about it. That's so funny. Okay.
What did you like about it?
So I really liked it.
Why did you really like it?
Okay, so my 3 words were, what were they?
I don't know.
Cold.
I got the red mist.
Cold, jumping, and scenery. So the cold one was less positive because the film was so snowy that I was cold the whole way through. Like, I literally sat there. I had my coat on my lap. I had to keep like putting. It was so cold. So these crazy Scandinavian people
You're so nuts.
who I love very much. They not only was it obviously completely freezing there because the fjords were frozen. But also, they didn't wear proper coats half the time. Their coats were always open. They didn't even do them up. They didn't wear gloves. They didn't wear woolly hats. I was more dressed up. I was wearing more layers in October in London than they were on the film at any point. They ate ice cream at one point, and I was just like...
you can enjoy ice cream all year round.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes, you... Comment. Tell us if you can enjoy ice cream all year round.
I can't enjoy ice cream all year round. So I got really cold. So that was less good. But though, to be fair, I have to say, a comment about the Odeon, I'm always cold in the Odeon. But yesterday I was colder than normal. But I generally actually sometimes don't always bother to take my coat off because I know that I'm just going to get chilly halfway through.
I get quite warm.
Well, lucky you're always warm.
Tea cozy.
So that was that. Jumping, because this film made me jump, especially when the snowballs came.
Just hang on,
flying.
really quickly, just before you go on to jumping. So your whole thing about cold, for about 20 minutes, I was just sat there going, if they go to hot countries, they must like melt because all I could, you're right, like they weren't wearing appropriate clothing for the weather at all. And I was just like, man, your body temperatures must be so low. So when you go to like anywhere with even the hint of sunshine, you must absolutely melt.
Yeah, because also at one point, Harry was like standing
like a snowman
next to an open window, naked at night.
Oh yeah, there was a random Fassbender in his boxers, kind of like artfully shot
I'm
to really sculpt the muscular difference. I don't mind, Fassbender is a very handsome man. Like,
so he is.
This is I'd like, I'll watch pretty much anything with Michael Fassbender in.
Yeah.
Not that makes it good. Anyway, sorry, second word.
So jumping was that it made me jump in the right moments. And you know what? I was thinking about what I liked about it, and the thing is that I liked is that it made me jump, and it was really, I found it really tense.
Hairballs make you jump.
Well, that's because you've got spider hair. What do you want to do? Put a T-posy next to an arachnophobe, and what am I supposed to do every 5 seconds? I'm like, is it a spider? Is it a hairball? I don't know.
That's fair enough. But sometimes you jump coming in through the front door, and I'm there, and you're like, oh my god, my boyfriend that I live with is in the flat that I share with him.
What can I say? I'm a jumpy person.
It's quite
jumpy.
jumpy.
But it made the film good for me because it made me jump. And the thing that I don't realise that I like about it was that I was expecting to be more scared than I was or not scared, but I was expecting it to be more horror than it was in terms of being really gory and having loads of like grisly murders. But a lot of it was about the tension of where the killer is and who, they didn't show all the crimes, basically, is what I mean. So they built up, and they had this snowball, so, you got hit by a snowball, and then you kind of knew they were going to die. And there was that snowman, that was really creepy. But they didn't show all the murders, and I don't feel the need to sit there watching 2 hours of people get murdered. I hate torture, I hate, I don't need that. I find it a cleverer film when the tension is there and you know that the crimes are happening, but you don't have to sit there and watch people. And yeah, there was a couple of times where you saw them lose a finger or whatever, but for me, it was the perfectly right balance of, tension horror and actual horror.
This is like the different. This is I think the difference between like a crime thriller and a murder horror.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, this is the thing. Like, you watch something like Saw or Final Destination, and it's all about the gruesome kind of ways that people end up getting offed. And there's something to be said for films like that. But like, you went into this expecting a detective sort of crime thriller like Scandi noir, like, yeah, and I agree. Like, you don't have to gratuitously show disgustingly gory murders, but the thing is, I think, like, actually, Gone Girl's a really, really good good kind of benchmark for that, because the one moment of extreme violence in that is all the more shocking because there's been nothing up to that point.
Yeah.
Like, and I think they did get the balance right.
Or Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, I think they did get the balance right in this film, because there's enough kind of gory aftermath to appreciate the nastiness and the violence involved in this killer's actions. Like the shotgun decapitation aftermath is enough. You don't need to see the various bits of viscera splattered all over the place in real time.
Yeah.
So I actually agree with you. What was your third word?
My third word was scenery, because you cannot deny that it was stunning.
The cinematography is fantastic.
Absolutely gorgeous. The location was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I've just never enjoyed the scenery in a film that much ever.
There are some amazing shots of like Fassbender goes up to this cabin and there's just a lovely panning sort of landscape shot where it's just like, come visit Norway! Norris tourist, Norris? The Norris tourist, the Norway tourist board.
I would go, apart from the fact that I was cold just watching it, and therefore going there in winter I'd be really chilly. But it made me want to go to Norway. But I always want to go to Norway. But you know.
Yeah, the cinematography was really good. The location shooting was very good, and I think in a way the fact that the film made you feel cold is maybe purposeful. And that in itself, like, if you feel that kind of frigidity, the iciness in the air, the chilling nature of the drama going on is amplified by the chilling surroundings of the snowy Norwegian landscape, then maybe the film did its job in that regard.
Yeah.
It's just a shame it dropped the ball in so many other places.
See, I don't agree. Like, I think it was, I don't know. I like any other film that has its weird, like, little bits of, oh, that was slightly unrealistic, or, oh, yeah, that was a bit weird. Like, it had them, of course it did.
It's not even about a lack of realism. It's about, this is a detective thriller, and there's barely any detecting that goes on. Like, the protagonists are so lucky in terms of clues and leads literally falling into their laps. And then there's this whole big thing that's built up around this massively clunky, portable database, hidden camera piece of hardware.
She goes around detecting with that. She interviews people with it.
And it has they build it up and it has absolutely no bearing on anything, because ultimately the thing that leads into the killer is a piece of random conversational happenstance that Harry just happens to come across after his partner has gone on some ridiculously ill thought out little secret covert mission of her own. Like, it's
that was the whole
characters make so many dumb decisions in this.
But of course she made a dumb decision, because she was the daughter of a detective that had been, what was it? He got murdered.
He got his head shot off because he was getting too close to the case.
So it was completely personal for her. Of course she was going to make bad decisions, and it was Harry's job to preempt that and save her, and he didn't. But that's beside the point. She was that rogue detective that was doing her own thing and sort of undermining the mission. But she did. But
she wasn't. She was barely a character. She didn't really have any personality. She wasn't. And this is the thing. We didn't get to know any of these characters. We didn't get to care about any of these characters when the twists come.
I care about Harry.
No, because he's Michael Fassbender. I'm not sure that's because they fleshed out Harry Hole's character. I think it's just because Fassbender is incredibly watchable. Doesn't it make you want to go back and read them all though and find out? No! In fact, this film was such a bad adaptation. It was such a bad experience.
You haven't read the book. You can't say that.
It was such a
Yes, I can. Read the book. Go and read the book, and then come back and say it was a bad adaptation.
If this is not a bad adaptation, that means the source material must be pretty shit. And I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that for a second, because the film was shit, and therefore I think it must have been a bad adaptation. I think it must have been a bad adaptation, because I don't believe that a book this highly rated can have characters this thin and so on. The film is not the same, cinema is not the same as literature. You have to understand your audience, and I don't think this film did that at all. It's bad. And I think about the best thrillers, and a lot of them were directed by David Fincher, and I think about how intricately some of the best films in the business weave plots together. And this actually blows my mind, because the director of this, Thomas Alfredson, he directed Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which does a brilliant job of weaving together like a whole bunch of twisting and turning little personal narratives. Why the hell couldn't he do that with this? I think maybe the fact that the script had about like half a dozen writers on it may have contributed to this. It's a mess. The whole film is a mess. It's an interconnected but ultimately incoherent narrative jumble of mediocrity.
I don't really know how to.
I woke up a lot more angry at this film than I
did.
went to bed on it.
You really did.
Sorry about that.
We were supposed to be sitting on it, so you got less angry. Anyway, so you didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy it. I did not enjoy the last 5 minutes because I thought it was ridiculous that comedian baddie dies by falling through the ice hole. I have to comment on this. It was ridiculous. Harry had like been shot and he's like chasing the baddie, who I thought was a good villain in that he was really creepy and cold and like sort of, I don't know, I found him really, really creepy, and I figured it was him before we knew it was him. I suspected him because he was so sort of creepy, which in a bad way sort of means it was too obvious, maybe because you got it even before I did. But basically, so Harry's chasing him over the ice, like the frozen fjord, and he's like, "Hello, I'm here. Come and get me." And then the guy shoots him, and then I'm like, "Oh, that was stupid, Harry, wasn't it?" But then, what was his name?
Matthias.
Yeah, Matthias like follows him and with the gun and is going to finish him off, and then steps forward to kill him, and then falls through a hole. And then Michael Fassbender's like, "Oh look, he's floating away and he can't get up, so then I can now collapse on the ice in my jumper with no coat."
So yeah,
and then magically get up and make my way back to the cabin.
that's it. So two of the most
What's his
dramatic.
name?
So what we're saying is two of the most dramatic parts of the film. One where Fassbender realises, or Harry Holt realises who the killer is, and two, how he ends up defeating the killer, are both actually nothing to do with Harry Holt, because he learns about it through like just a random innocuous remark, and then he defeats the villain by the villain falling into a hole.
But
Wait, hang on, falling into a Harry hole. Wait, maybe it's super clever. No, it's not.
No, I have to defend Harry on the whole innocuous comment thing, because he finds the comment. So when he realizes who the murderer is, it's because he listens to that interview between the detective who dies, Katrine or whatever her name is. She is recording on her handheld thing, and she is interviewing the husband of one of the women who was murdered. And he let slip about how we went to the doctor instead of she went to the doctor, and so she found out he'd been lying, and then that they went to a different doctor, and they found out that doctor was Matthias. And Harry had been like copying her computer files or something to chase her up because he knew that she was doing something else. Like he was working, he was doing something. He was going out of his way to get these files and watch these interviews, and then found this comment in the interview. It's not, I don't know, you can't say that it completely just fell into his lap.
It sort of fell into his lap. The
only
reason he actually even picks up her weird hardware thing and starts going back through the database is because it's all been deleted. So that interview is the last thing that she did. And it's only because of that he happens... So the killer actually kind of like helps implicate himself because he deletes everything down to the last piece of evidence that is actually handy. Like,
well, that is quite lucky.
And then he falls in a hole, a Harry hole. Also, he falls in a Harry hole, a Harry ice hole.
Also, that bit where the killer's like in Harry's apartment, like dancing to that really creepy music. So that music was I quite like that music, and that was quite creepy. That was it went really well with the film, and it was really sort of indicative of something's going on, and then you like find out this guy in this sort of like beekeeping suit is the killer in his apartment, and it's just, I don't know, but nothing, it meant absolutely nothing.
More about
like
that,
they never mentioned that again. He never found out what happened. It was never referred to. It was a completely pointless 10 seconds, but it was really funny.
But the thing is, like, those things are often really, really cool. So, you know, elements where the killer's been like this far away from his adversary and no one's known, and those are things that, you know, that's a kind of trope that happens a fair amount in these sorts of things. I would have actually liked to have seen more than that. Obviously, spoilers. The biggest one is that, oh yeah, I'm sort of with your ex-wife / girlfriend and your son who isn't your son, and that's a massive point in the whole thing. Right under your nose, haha. But
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen actually the film embrace a little bit more weirdness.
Yeah.
Like more
pretty good.
more kind of
Weirdness.
little oddball things like that, because I think you're right. That was one of the best. That was actually one of the best scenes, because yeah, he's there, and then he goes outside and you see actually the original kind of fumigator smoking a cigarette outside, going, someone just walked
Yeah.
past in my outfit. What? Hey, and it's those moments, especially early on, that make you go, oh, was that the killer?
Yeah.
And add to the tension and like the idea that this guy is really infiltrating Harry's life. But
Yeah.
you're right, that was a one and done thing, and
Yeah.
it was a bit meh. And I think the ending. Like the ending,
Yeah, the ending was-
the ending was just really rushed, because the film takes so long in trying to mislead you, not particularly successfully, that when it comes to the actual confrontation, it kind of speeds through it, and then all of a sudden he
Yeah.
falls through the hole, and then now it's an epilogue
Yeah.
where a 30-second epilogue where Harry's got a metal finger.
Yeah.
So the ending seemed really rushed.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably a fair comment. Like, I genuinely enjoyed it. I thought I'm able to overlook these little things, and I thought altogether it was great. But it made me want to go and read the books. Yes, I didn't find out enough about Harry. I didn't really, I don't know why he's an alcoholic. I don't know what he's been through, whatever. But it makes me want to find out more. But I agree that the first bit of the film was too long. There were too many random bits, and then at the end, when you really wanted it to be a struggle and like dramatic and everything, and this guy just fell through the hole and that was the end, that was really stupid.
Yeah, I just wanted some tension in this film.
But
That
I
would've been
had
nice.
tension, but maybe I'm easier to make tense than you.
I will say this, so complete sidebar. Going to the cinema with a person who jumps out of their seat at every little thing is a great way to make a film slightly more scary. Because although I don't really jump at films necessarily, I do jump when she jumps. Massively. So actually, you're really good value.
Oh, thanks.
Superb.
Good compliment.
You're a great cinema buddy. Hopefully, I'm, because
Yeah,
that
well,
shoulder, you can
yeah,
grab
I
things.
I hit my head on your shoulder at one point when I knew that someone was going to die, but then they didn't die graphically, so I was like, oh, that's all right. But I thought they would. But also, at the beginning, I thought that the killer was hiding the women in the snowman, and I got really excited, but I was actually a little bit terrified, because basically, near the first woman that you sort of see die has this little girl who wakes up and finds her mother's missing, and there's a snowman outside, obviously trademarked by the killer, whatever. But because the woman had gone missing, did they even ever find her? I can't remember.
Yes, she's in the freezer.
Oh, she was in the freezer, of course she was. Okay, so because she was missing, I honestly thought that the killer had killed her, built a snowman around her body, and that the kid was gonna go and find her mother in the snowman. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be traumatic. And that didn't happen. And after that, to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed. Because the bodies just all disappeared. And then at the end, they were just found in a freezer.
To be fair, that would have been a much creepier and kind of better use for the snowman motif.
But at one point, Harry was looking at the snowman suspiciously, and he was working out that the snowman was related to the murders, and that there was that the snow had an impact on it. When the killer was going to strike and stuff, and he was sort of walking around the snowman and filming it or taking pictures or whatever he was doing, and he was looking at it, and I just honestly thought that he was going to start poking at it and dig it out and then work out there was a woman in it, and I was like, well, it's going to be really tense.
But it wasn't.
Yeah. But it was in other ways. It was just once you decided what you think is going to happen, and then when the thing that really happens isn't as creepy as the thing you've imagined, then it
It's
can
a little
set itself a
anticlimactic,
little bit
yeah.
anticlimactic.
Also, the killer doesn't even necessarily build a snowman for everyone he kills, which is...
But there was also that snowman that had 3 heads, or a body and 2 heads, and then the good snowman was looking this way, and then you saw the creepy head looking backwards, and Harry missed it because it was facing the other way, and then it was bad snowman, good snowman. I thought that was really cool.
So did I. And then I thought, hang on, is a murder snowman if no one sees it?
Good point. But
Like,
then there was snowmen with the heads on, with female heads.
but this is
And
it.
then
Like,
there were
like
bodies
imagine,
with snowmen heads on.
but
It was
imagine,
quite,
imagine if
quite
your
diverse.
theory, imagine if your theory, Like, at least the head was in the snowman, and then when the snowman's head
Yeah,
melts,
yeah,
you just have the
exactly.
human
It
head.
starts to
That
melt,
would
and
have
then you
been
see,
fucked
like,
up.
Yeah, because I thought, apart from the fact that it clearly was so cold that these snowmen were not going to melt anytime soon. Like, imagine if you kill this woman overnight, and then the kid wakes up, and then sees the snowman, is like, oh, snowman, but also, oh, mum's missing. And
That
then,
would've
like,
been much
later in the
creepier.
day, the snowman starts to melt, and then the woman's face starts coming through.
Yeah,
Like, I
that
was
would've
like, that's a
been-
great film.
That would have been really creepy and grim.
I know.
But also, like, fascinating in terms of like body discovery, because it would be horrific for the detectives at the scene
yeah,
as well.
well, yeah, of course.
Man, that would have been.
So that's where my brain was going during this.
I wish we'd watched that film
Maybe I'll make
in a
that
way. Maybe you should. I like it. So yeah,
So yeah,
the snowman.
we're walking in the air. So yeah, leave comments. Tell us what you thought.
So yeah, we'll be back with another one. Spoiler alert coming at you every Sunday. There are some clickables on the screen, so make sure you check out some of the other stuff. And if you enjoyed this, leave a like, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, remember to turn on notifications so you never miss a thing.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.